Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel, and welcome back to Waste Nights, Saviours of the Waste, Episode 5, Turn 4. Okay, right, where is everybody, and who's our first player? Our first player is going to be Zooma Jiemba. We're going to pass across the actual first player marker later. Where is he? Well, he's in big trouble. He's here at the old refinery. After him, it'll be Slicer Takeda, who has just blown the hell out of Red Tomb and is speeding away from a massive mushroom cloud. Who says nothing happens in this game? And after him, it will be Mama Manifold, and she's down here at Cerberus Biolabs, where she's made a hash of finding some stuff. She found some grandpa's stuff and she can't find it anywhere, so she's going to carry on looking. And our final player will be Triple Jinx, and she's here at Rusty's Garden, where she has just picked up a private task. So that's where everybody's up to. Next is the preparation phase. And here we are at the preparation phase, the first part of which is the waster step. So what I've done is I've moved the turn marker up to 4, and we've also got to mark off our task cards. Now, nice trophy, that was just promoted last exploration step, so that's not going to get a marker on it yet. But my grandpa was a scientist. That's been here for a full turn, so that has now got a number 1 against it. Orange die, as it is an orange private task. You'll see the green private task, which Triple Jinx has got. You'll see that's also got a marker on it a little bit later. So what else have we got to do? Well, let's zoom out a little. The next thing we need to check is board game effects. So this is basically the hexes that our guys are on. Now, Triple Jinx, all she's got is a couple of threat tokens, but that's fine because she's already here. Same for Mama Manifold, she's just got a threat token, so she's fine. Now, unfortunately, Zooma Jiemba, he has got 2 contamination markers, so he will lose 2 health, which is a bit of a nightmare. So he's now on 1 health, and he has got to roll 2 less dice for any test that he does. So he is in big trouble. The other person who's going to take some hammer is Slicer Takeda. He's got a contamination marker thanks to the acid rain, and he also gets 2 radiation. So we'll take those off him. Contamination marker puts him down to 3 health, so that's not too bad. But the radiation would send him up to 2 radiation. So what he's going to do is he's actually going to spend his rad-out for that. So discards that so he doesn't get any radiation from the nuclear blast that's just taken place. So that is our board effects. Now we've got to remove long-term effects. So, what are those? Well, these contamination markers. The acid rain has stopped. So we can pick these up. That's pretty cool. So, those extra contaminations will not be there for this turn. After that, it is... oh yeah, we've got to flip the main tokens. So, this token now goes onto its black and white side. So that's that done. Oh, the other thing that we would have done at this stage, I didn't do it because nobody's in a city. If anybody was in a city, then they could have got a health, they could have dialed down the radiation, they could have got a fuel, or they could have gained some ammunition. But there's nobody in a city, so nobody has done any of that. Right, so that is the game board effects. Let's move on to the night step. So let's go across, see our first player, Zooma Jiemba. And here we are with Zooma Jiemba. Last thing of the waster step is we pass the first player marker, but we may as well do that while we're focusing in on him. So that is Zooma is now first player officially. We'd also pass the waster marker at this point, but seeing as I'm the waster, I haven't really bothered putting it anywhere, but it would be on the opposite player if we were using it, but seeing as I'm playing solo, I haven't bothered with it. Right, so night step. We unmark any gear cards or night sheets. So these are the night sheets. We have marked a gear card. We marked Bible of the Waste. So take the marker, put it back up here. So he's now got his Bible of the Waste back. Anything else? He can re-equip gear cards, but he can't wear two Dundee hats, so he's got nothing to equip. Right, so final thing is he draws a luck card. So let's see what he can get. We've only got two left, so we'll have to shuffle back in the discard shortly. Die already. Well, that's not too bad because it's a health, so if you can live long enough, you should be able to get a health back in the rest step. Before the attack check, your attack gains 1 damage. It gains 2 damage if you're attacking with a melee weapon. Right, so we'll put that there. And that is the end of his night step. Next up, let's take a look at Slicer Takeda. And here's Slicer Takeda. So he's lost a health. He's also had to use his rad-out in order to stop himself getting 2 radiation. But other than that, he's okay. I don't think he's going to use his medi-shot for just 1 health loss. So what's he got to do? Let's have a look. Let's chant the night step mantra. He's got to unmark his gear cards and night sheet. He's got no marks, so that's cool. He's got to re-equip any gear cards. Well, he's happy with what he's got and where it is, so he's going to keep that as is. And he gets to draw 1 luck card. Now, his hand limit is already 5, but he draws 2, and he might want to swap some out. Now, there was only 1 left, so I've now got the rest of the discards. So the one that was left was Not This Time, Old Chap, in response to another luck card. So what I'm going to do is, we won't be playing luck cards on each other, I don't think. So I'm going to take that out. So there's another one somewhere that I'll take out when we get to triple Jinx. There's not much point in having them, so let's get rid. So we'll put that to one side. The next one is Piece of Cake. Now that's a good one. That is a good one. So he will probably swap that for something. And his second card, because he's got a lucky charm, is Chop Chop. He's not bothered about Chop Chop. We'll discard that. But he is going to have Piece of Cake. So what's he going to get rid of? I think he's going to get rid of Sweet Spot. So he's going to discard Sweet Spot, so he gets Piece of Cake, so he can pass a skill check that isn't a combat check. So he'll put that there. Right, so that is his go in the night step. Next up is Mama... Bloody hell. Next up is Mama Manifold. And here is Mama Manifold. Chant the night step mantra. Unmark gear cards and night sheets. Well, she hasn't got any marks on anything this turn. So we can move on to re-equipping gear cards. Well, she's going to keep her surgical instruments in her pocket. The reason for that is she is going to gain +1 die to that medical check. And she needs that medical check to pick that private task up. But what we are going to do is we're going to put the medi-shot over the road map. Because she's not moving anywhere, she doesn't need the road map. So we're going to put the medi-shot across it just in case something happens. Other than that, we're fine with the gear cards. So it's now her turn to pick up a luck card. She's only got 4, so she can have another one. And she gets Hard as a Rock. Before the opponent's attack check, during this class, you gain 2 armour. Cool. So to put that there. And she is now up to her hand limit. And that is it for Mama Manifold. So let's go and visit Triple Jinx. And here is Triple Jinx. Just before we chant the mantra, here is the one on Fool's Errand. So it's got, we've marked it off as having had one turn. You only get 3 turns, then no matter how far along you are with it, it gets exhausted and put back in the deck. So she's got 2 more turns to finalise this card before it gets taken off her. Right, the mantra: unmarked gear cards and night sheet. So she hasn't used any markers, so that's fine. We can move on to re-equip gear cards. Well, she's fine with everything where it is, so that's going to stay the same. After that, she gets to draw 1 luck card. She has got 5, but we're gonna get rid of, not this time, old chap, because it doesn't really work in this game in solo. So the one she's going to get is going to replace that. Oh, and she gets piece of cake as well. So that's cool. That is especially cool because we want to finish this. So if we've got to explore Sandpacer. So if that's got an exploration check, we're going to use piece of cake and we are going to finalise that. So that is pretty cool. I didn't know it was there. I already mentioned that I was getting rid of the not this time old chap. And even if I didn't, she could have drawn that card and swapped it anyway. So we're alright. Okay, right, so that is it for Triple Jinx. And that is it for the preparation phase. So let's get into the Wasteland phase. Welcome to the Wasteland phase, and our first player is, yes, it's Zooma Jiemba, the luckiest man in New Australia. Right, what's he going to do? Well, he's going to move to Alice Offsprings. Now, it is only 1 hex. So he's just going to move 1 hex, so he doesn't have to use any fuel. He's walking, as they call it. I like to think, let's get a bit sci-fi. I like to think that they're using the solar panels, yeah? The vehicles have got little solar panels. They choose not to use fuel. They'll use the solar panels. They're no good for getting anywhere quick, but they will trundle you along to the next hex. So that's what he's doing. He does that. And obviously he now has to draw a Wasteland card. So we'll get rid of that. Didn't cost him any fuel. Previously, I've mentioned that you don't get a Wasteland card if you're moving into a city. That's cobblers. Ignore that, that's rubbish. But most of the times I've pulled a Wasteland card, I would have pulled it before we got into a city anyway. But it is cobblers. He does have to do a Wasteland card. I think, as I mentioned when I was talking about the nuclear explosion at Red Tomb, the hexes are huge. It's a city hex, but the city's not taking up all the hex. So you can still get sort of like ambushed or whatever, bushwhacked outside of the city just before you get there. So you can play Wasteland cards. So let's see what he gets. A car wreck. Well, this is good. This is good. It's another car wreck, but at least he's not going to get attacked by anything while he's only got 1 die. So what's he got? So he could try a repair 9 check. He will lose 1 die. What's his repair? He loses 2 die, sorry. His repair is 2, but you always roll 1 die, so he could roll 1 die for it. But he's going to stop immediately anyway, because he's not going any further than Alice Offsprings. So there's no point in actually doing the repair check. So if he stops immediately, he loses 1 ammo, and he skips the exploration step this round. But he does gain a reputation and 3 fuel. Well, that's bloody typical. You don't need fuel. We'll do the repair check. Because no, we won't bother. We won't bother. he'll get the +1 reputation. He won't get any fuel because he's up at 4, but he'll get the +1 reputation. If he did a repair check, it does mean that he'd lose 1 ammo anyway, but it would mean that he could do the exploration step, but sod it. Let's get the 1 reputation. So that moves him up to 3. He's just happy to get there in 1 piece. So that's this Wasteland card done. And that is the end of Zooma's go. So he won't be having a very long exploration phase. I'll just put this marker there just to remind me, so I don't do an exploration step for him. Okay, after him, it's Slicer Takeda. And here we are with Slicer. Now, what's he going to do? Well, what he's going to do is, let's move Zooma over a tiny bit. He's going to try and help Zooma out. He's got a medi shot that you can trade with him. So, his plan is to move here into this hex and then move here. Now, unfortunately, whichever way round he went to try and get into this hex, he would have had to have drawn another Wasteland card. So he may as well go the quickest. That's only going to cost him 2 movement points and 1 fuel. But he is going to have to draw 2 Wasteland cards. So let's start the movement. There we go. That costs him no movement points. But it's his first hex and it does have a threat icon. So the first Wasteland card, it's these guys. I'm just going to call them zombies. The ferocious. They've got 3 dice, short range and melee. Oh, I also caught myself last time saying extra damage for this. It's just damage. They just do 2 damage. It's not extra. It's not additional. Don't listen to me. I'm an idiot. And they've got 5 health. Any attack checks suffer -2 die. So that's nasty. But you can get past them with a medicine 5 check. If you do fight them and manage to beat them, you get a reputation and a yellow gear card. Next up, we have a silent howler. Who thought these up? Right, so these are a beast and they're also a mech. So there they are, some like sort of cybernetic dog that Cerberus have made. So this has got 4 dice, but it isn't ferocious. It's medium range, also melee. So medium range, it must use this laser. Obviously melee, it uses its teeth and claws. It's armour piercing, does 1 damage. It's got 1 armour, got all that on its back there, and 3 health. So silent howler. If you lose at least 1 health as a result of this enemy's attack, at the end of a clash with the waster can place the range marker on the short range card. Oh right, that must be, like say you do the first clash and it gets a health on you, it means like it sort of, I suppose it means it stuns you for a bit and the dog can get really close to you. So it can get in for a teeth and claw attack. If you want to avoid it, it's a survival 7 check, but if you do manage to beat it, you get +1 rep and 1 green card. I have a feeling I'm going to have to play this card because we have the common task, nice trophy. So the one about father wants him to become a great hunter and he wants somebody to go out and kill something for him. But it says here, this task will be accomplished by the first knight to defeat any enemy from the Wasteland cards. Wasters must play enemy card. Oh, it's any enemy. Right, that's cool. So we've still got to make a decision. I thought it was going to say a beast, but because it is a beast. So which one is more difficult? See, this one is pretty tricky because of the -2 dice. And let's be honest, I think Slicer Takeda is going to take these on, whichever one we pick, because then he can get a common task. So that's only got 3 attack dice. It's short range and melee, but That Slicer Takeda, he's pretty good at short range and melee too. But it will be -2 dice. The dog, that will get a medium range attack. But I think Slicer Takeda can... Yeah, if he plays the change range card, he gets some extra abilities. So... But at least that makes it more difficult for him. And even if he does win, he doesn't get as much stuff off this. And come on, we want to find some common garden zombies, or do we want to fight a dog that's got like freaking laser beams, man? We're fighting the dog, right? So we'll get rid of the like zombies with the silly name, and we're going to take on the Silent Howler. Woohoo! Right, let me get set up, won't be a second. And here we are at our specially prepared combat arena. Just in case you're wondering, this token, that's just there because that is where Triple Jinx has come from. I just need it as a reminder. I've also put a token just up here, I think you can just see it. That is where it's actually taking place, this clash, where Slicer Takeda is taking on the dog with the freaking laser beam eye. The Silent Howler. Righto, so I brought the sawn-off shotgun and the combat battery which is attached to it. I've also got 3 of his luck cards which may or may not be played depending on how we're doing. And let's get on with the attack. So we're at medium range, which is where we start. So medium range will go first, then short range, but it's just an initiative loss. You don't lose any die for using a short range weapon at medium range. And long range, where you would lose a die if you were using a long range weapon. But we've got medium range, then short range. But that's not going to affect Slicer. I'll tell you why. Now the dog is going to attack. It's obviously in its programming because we've got all this bump here where it says if the enemy loses at least 1 health as a result, then it's then going to move in and go to short range. So that's obviously the way the dog has been programmed. So it's going to attack first at medium range and then move in to use its teeth and claws. So it's going to attack. Slicer is going to change range. So he's going to advance because he wants to get to short range. It's what he's good at. So attack, the dominance marker would move up 1 towards the red, but change range, it moves back towards the blue, so no net gain. Also, from using change range, we have a special ability for Slicer Takeda. His enemy loses 1 die, which is cool. So it's down to 3. Not only that, additionally, if you read change range, your opponent's attack checks suffer -1 die. So that is pretty cool. Yeah. So he only gets 2 dice, not 4. But he does get to go first. So let us roll, baby. A 4 and a 2. He missed! Useless! You useless dog! Right, so that's brilliant. It's missed. Next, Slicer Takeda. Well, he's changing range, so we can't fire or anything. So we're just going to change range. And that is the end of the attack sequence. So, didn't have to do any health loss or anything like that. He's still on 3 health. Nobody's been KO'd. So we go back to the second clash. The marker moves because we did change range, so we're now at short range. Yeah. But the dog's got a short range melee attack, and so has Slicer Takeda. But Slicer Takeda is going to use his sawn off. So guns go first. Yeah. Gun first, then melee. So he is going to use his sawn off shotgun with the combat battery. Short range, it does 2 damage. Also, the combat battery has armour piercing against mechs, so we can ignore that armour. Cool, right? So his guns are 2. He's got 2 on his guns. Is there anything else that will help? So we've got focus man, just in case we miss, because we're only rolling 2. We're only rolling 2 dice. We've got to do the cards. Go! So he's doing an attack. So he's got to spend an ammo. The dog is going to attack as well. Yeah, it's not going to change range or anything. The dog is going to try and attack as well. So as I say, the whole idea with this little bit of text here is it moves into attack. So I see no reason for it to defend or do anything like that. It is attacking. Right, so that's no net gain. So we stay here. That's cool. He is still going first because he is using a gun and the dog is trying to bite him. So he gets 2 dice. Just check his special abilities. No, he only gets extra abilities if he's using a melee weapon and he's using the gun for this round of combat. So 2 dice. Come on. A 7 and a 6. They are both hits, because with blade and guns you only need a 5. And he is first. He goes first, so he's got 2 hits. That is immense. 2 hits is 1 hit, if you remember. So it's hit once. So it's not like 2 damage. But it is 2 damage because that's what the sawn off does. So it has done 2 damage. The combat battery means he hasn't got any, what's the word? He hasn't got any armour. So we have done 2 damage out of 3. So that is -2. Yeah. And because we put 2 damage on it, the dominance track goes down 2. Yeah, so that is cool. Right, next up, it is obviously the dog's go. So the dog is going to do a melee attack. So 4 dice, and he gets the full 4 dice this time. And it gets 2. Gets 2 successes, but that is 1 hit. And on each hit it does 1 damage. So we lose 1 damage, which is bad because that puts us down to 2 health, which means we lose a die, unfortunately, which is a bit of a blow. Right, so that is the end of the second clash. So we're going to the 3rd and final clash. I see no reason to change the attack cards. We're just going to keep attacking. But we're going to play a card. And we're going to play Deep Pockets. So after setting the starting range, which is obviously short range, you can freely re-equip your gear cards. And what we're going to do is we're going to equip the machete. So yeah, he's going in with a blade. So let's get rid of those. The machete does 1 damage. We'll discard Deep Pockets. And obviously the dog is attacking melee as well. So we're exactly the same now. Yeah, we're doing exactly the same. So this, we're going to do Slice of Takeda first, but all the damage and everything will be simultaneous. What he's going to also play is, before the attack check, he's going to play Die Already. So the attack gains 1 damage, and it will gain 2 damage if attacking with melee weapon, which he is. His blades is 4, So he's going to get 4 dice, and he will get 2 damage if he does a success, which should be enough to kill this bad boy. Excellent. Right, 4 dice. I think he's also got a special ability of armour piercing. Yep, he has armour piercing as a special ability, so he can ignore the armour on the dog. So all he needs, 1 success. And he gets a critical as well anyway. So a 9 was a success, critical was a success, and he gets an extra hit because it's a critical. Woohoo! He has killed the dog. So that is the end of Fido, but it's a simultaneous attack. So the dog will get 4 dice again. And it gets a critical. Dang! So that is just... Is that 2 hits? I think it is. Yes, it counts as a success and a hit. So actually we're both knocked out, I think. I'll just check. I think we're both KO'd. Right, yes, they're both KO'd, so it's a draw, funnily enough. So this goes to a 3 because he got 1. He knocked it back down 2, but the dominance doesn't matter. May as well put it at 0 because they've knocked each other out. It's a draw. But the important thing is you still win. It's counted as you're still allowed to get the reward for it on a draw. So discard that. They fought each other to an absolute standstill and knocked each other out. But he does get an extra reputation, which puts him on to 5. And he gets, is it a green card? He gets a green card, which is a prepper's kit. Your survival checks gain a die. Limit 1 per night. Right. So we'll put that in his backpack. Now, I couldn't use his Medishot there. His Medishot was in his pocket. But you can't sort of you can't use it after the wounds have been inflicted. I should have used it actually just before we started the clash, but that's my own silly fault because I was trying to keep it for Zooma. So we didn't use Focus Man, so we can put that back. So that was a bit unfortunate really. So we'll zoom out and we'll see what's happened to Slicer. And here we are with Slicer. Poor old Slicer has been knocked out. He's been KO'd and he will not get an exploration step because he is KO'd. So poor old Zooma Jiemba's not going to get an exploration step. Neither is Slicer Takeda. So at least that's going to be a nice quick step. Assuming that the other two managed to get an exploration step. So not the best. But, oh, that did count as, because that counted as like we killed it. So he does get nice trophy. So he does get an extra 2 reputation and another green card. And that means we're up to 3. Up to 3 on our common tasks. Yeah, we don't want to forget that. Yes. If both of you get knocked out, it still counts as you defeated it. So gets that. He gets another 2 reputation, which puts him up to 7. So he's streaking away with it. He's Slicer. So he's now got 7 reputation, and he gets another green card. See what he gets. And he gets a roadmap, which he didn't have previously. You gain 1 movement when using a vehicle to move. Right, so he's got plenty of stuff to trade, funnily enough, if you can get to Alice Springs. If you can get to Alice Off Springs, he's got some gear. Right. So, but unfortunately, as it stands at the moment, he is knocked out. Right, let's turn these, just turning the attack cards round. Right, who's after Slicer Takeda? It is Mama Manifold. And here's Mama Manifold. So she's not moving anywhere. So she doesn't have to draw a Wasteland card or anything. She's staying put because she wants to pick up this private task. So she's running round Cerberus Biolabs trying to find this person's grandpa's like stuff, and she can't find it. So hopefully during the explore phase she'll manage to do that. Okay, so that's it for Mama Manifold during the movement step. So next will be Triple Jinx, who is here. So where is she going to move, and is she going to use any of her luck cards? No, not really. She's got no luck cards to do with movement. So what she's going to do is she's going to go here, then here, then here, then here. So first move, she goes here, whoop, and because it's a first move, that means a Wasteland card. But she'll get another Wasteland card down at Sandpacer, so we'll just see what it is. A tornado. Stop immediately. Your car suffers 1 damage. Even if you escape, place +1 tokens on this hex and all adjacent hexes. What the +1 tokens are, let's dig them out here. It means it'll cost you 1 extra movement point in all those hexes. So that's pretty nasty actually. I'm wondering whether to play that now. Oh, I'm not going to play it. The reason is she ignores nature events. Yeah, she can flick this back. She's got a special ability. Let me just check. Yeah, you ignore the effects of nature Wasteland cards. So she's going to ignore that anyway, so we may as well get rid of that right away because it doesn't affect Triple Jinx. So she's going to move on here. Rid of that. Move here. Get rid of that. And finally she's going to turn up at Snowpiercer, and that's 3 movement points. I've already took a fuel off Slicer Takeda, so even though he only went 1 hex... Oh no! He only went 1 hex. I'm going to have to put that fuel back. He only went 1 hex and it's a 0. So he would have spent a fuel if he'd got to Alice Offsprings. He didn't, so at least he gets a fuel back. I'll give him a fuel back, but I will take a fuel off Triple Jinx. She goes down to 2 fuel. Slicer Takeda is still at 3 because he didn't spend any fuel before the dog knocked him out. Right, so Triple Jinx has arrived here. It's got a threat token, so we've got to draw another one of these. Right, this is a general event, so it's not a nature event. Oasis. Stop immediately. Well, she's already stopped. You heal 3 radiation and 3 health. Right, well that's fine. It doesn't say anything about you missing the expiration phase. So, woohoo, a good card. Isn't she jammy? Right. How jammy is that? Zooma can't believe it. What's happening to the boys? They're getting all this crap. The girls are just like breezing through it. Right. So, Oasis. So, no need to do a survival check. She was going to stop here anyway. She doesn't miss an exploration step or anything. So, can she heal? No, she's already at full health. And she's already at 0 radiation. So, cool. No pain. So we'll get rid of that. Right, so she's got there with no dramas, as they say. Cool. Righty-ho, so that is the end of the movement step. Next up, it is, I'm sure it's the exploration step, is it not? Indeed it is. Right, so let's get back to Jiemba. And here's Jiemba. And if you recall, he got involved in a car crash just outside Alice Offsprings and he misses his whole exploration step. So that was pretty quick, wasn't it? So that's the end for Zooma. And it's also pretty quick for Slicer Takeda because he's been knocked out. So he doesn't get an exploration step either. So there's not a lot going on up here. So let's zoom back down and see what Mama Manifold is going to do in her exploration step. And here we are with Mama Manifold. She's still at Cerberus Biolabs. Now, she could heal her radiation. She has got 1 radiation damage, but I think she's going to take a green card. Let's get some stuff. So she's using the special hex action to get a green card. She doesn't need to do any test, so she can just get the green card. So let's dig the deck out. Here we are. And she gets some extra bullets. Cool. So she'll put them with a canister. Excellent. Right, having done that, what she can now do is she can look to pick up a task. So she's going to try and pick up My Grandpa Was a Scientist. If you remember from last time, it's a medicine 9 check. She's got medicine of 3, but she also has surgical instruments, which she's got in her pockets. So she's going to get an extra die. Let's check if she's got anything good to help her out. All Night on the Road, Faster Faster, Chop Chop, Deadly Quick, Hard as a Rock. She could have done with the reroll, but she hasn't got it. So let's see if she can just... She needs a 9. A 9 with 4 dice. A 9. 2 9s. Woo! She picks it up. Excellent. Right, so My Grandpa Was a Scientist. May as well take this as well. Right, so she's picked this up. So she can now take this card. Now she has to get to the pumps next turn to accomplish the task and explore the pumps. Brilliant. Then she can get a Cyberarm gear card. And +2 reputation. I think because that's cybernetic, I think she'll have to go to somewhere. She might have to go back to the biolabs or something to get it attached. I'm not sure. Or is it Cerberus Tower? She might have to go to Cerberus Tower to actually get it attached. But we can have a look at that if she succeeds. Right, so we've picked up another private task. Put that over here on a player area, along with task marker, because it took her 1 step more than it should have, because she missed out last time. But that's good news. We can take the number 1 up because she's now picked it up. Put that over here. Brilliant stuff. Right, so she's getting ready to go to the pumps next turn. Right, that's it for Mama Manifold. Next up, Triple Jinx. And here we are with Triple Jinx. What is she going to do? Well, she's got to explore the Snowpiercer Hex. Sorry, it's Sandpiercer Hex. I'm thinking of that other science fiction thing. So, Sandpiercer. Right, oh, it doesn't have an Explorer. That's pretty cool. So, if we were to spend 1 green card, place your night marker on any hex. This is not considered moving. You can explore the new hex as normal, but you cannot perform any exploration action there. Alright, so we could just move. In which case, we will finish. First thing we'll do, we might do that, so we'll check out, we could get a green card as well. But I like the move. I like the move. So what we'll do first, because you can do it in any order, we will do the private task first. So let's grab the private task. Here it is, Fool's Errand. So we've explored Sandpiercer and accomplished the task. We get the laser sight gear card and 2 reputation. Excellent. 2 reputation will take her up to 4. So she's got 4 reputation. We'll discard this card. And we have done 3 private tasks. Woohoo! And laser sight. So that'll probably be in this deck, I would imagine, the epic deck. Chainsword, tin cutter, red ray, executor, Aegis exos, laser sight. Attached to a gun, pretty much, and limit 1 per gun, and you get an extra die. Cool. Is there anything she can attach it to? Yes, you can attach it to her Arrrgh. So I don't think I shall have to check that. I'm not so sure she can have the mini bomber and the laser sight on the same weapon. It does say limit 1 per weapon, so there's not 2 laser sights, so it must mean a limit in attachments. So what we might do is we might attach the laser sight, take off the mini bomber, and give that to somebody else in a trade. Right, so let's put the epic deck back. Right, so we've completed the private task first. The exploration step, however, isn't complete. We are going to have a look at that special move that she has got. Right, so you can spend a green card to place your night marker on any hex. This is not considered moving. You can explore the new hex as normal, but you cannot perform any exploration action there. Right, she's going to spend a green card. In fact, she's going to spend a yellow card. She does have a green card, which is the Medi Shot, but she wants to keep the Medi Shot, so she's going to spend the armour piercing rounds. Why? Well, we desperately need somebody to help the boys out, because the boys are rubbish. They are just rubbish. So what she's going to do is she's going to move all the way up to Alice Offspring. Oh no, she's going to move all the way up to Slicer Takeda. She's going to help him out. So they've been on the CBs or whatever, and she's got a lift with a sand piercer all the way up. She's tracked him down with his tracker. She's heard he was in trouble, so she's gone there to help him out. So I believe during the next phase, during the rest step, you can actually aid a fellow Waster Knight. I'll have to check that, but as it stands, she's going up there to help Slicer Takeda out. If she can't help him, she'll go to Alice Offsprings, but I think she can. Right, that is the end of the explore step, so let's find out if she can help Slicer Takeda as we go into the rest step. What you can do is when you're moving through a hex with another knight, you can make a decision. You can either duel them, well she's not going to do that, you can either help revive them, or you could actually loot them while they're KO'd, which isn't very nice, and we are playing cooperatively. So she's actually going to revive him. So the revive, she's got to pass a survival check first of 7. That's what that is you've got to find the person. So she's found out roughly where he is. She's got the sand piercer there, but she's got to pinpoint his location. But she's not going to roll a survival check, because a survival is 3, but let's make sure she finds him. Yeah? So she's going to play piece of cake to pass that test. So before that skill check, she is going to play piece of cake, which is very nice of her. So she's found him. Once she finds him, she can revive him. I've got a little cheat sheet here. So revive. Enemy knight returns to play and heals 2 of each KO'd resource. The active knight, which is triple Jinx, gains 1 reputation and may trade. So she revives him. She gets an extra reputation, which puts her up to 5. He goes up to 2 health. So he's still -1 die, but at least he's up to 2 health. And they can trade. So let's have a look at what they've got. I think, to thank her for what she's done, I think what we're going to have is Slicer is going to give her those extra those extra bullets, that ammunition. He's going to pass that across. It's only fair, seeing as she spent armour-piercing bullets to get all the way up here. So he'll give her those. It's no use giving her the road map because she's got one already. And I think that is it. What about the prepper's kit? And he'll give her the prepper's kit as well. So that'll put her survival up to 4. So that's a nice little thank you for her rescuing him. I think. Yes, so they've done a little trade. So that's pretty cool. Righty-ho. So that is now the end of the exploration step. Let's move on to the rest step. Right, so we're into the rest step. Now, as part of that revive, we've already done the trade. So Triple Jinx and Slicer Takeda were the only two that could trade anyway. She's just revived him, so they did a trade as part of that. So that's cool. We've got that out of the way. Now's the phase where everybody can shuffle their gear around should they wish to. And I think what we're going to do is Triple Jinx is going to take off the mini bomber, but she's going to retain the laser sight for the eraser. So she's going to take the mini bomber and she's going to take it off that weapon and she's going to replace it with the laser sight. We're going to keep the mini bomber. Hopefully we'll be able to give it to Zooma Jiemba, but at some point. So she's unequipped that and she has put that into her backpack. Okay, is anybody else going to move anything around? No? Oh, yes. Mama Manifold is going to put her surgical instruments back into a backpack. Served the purpose now. She passed that medicine test. And she's going to move the Medi-Shot from over a road map into her empty pocket. So she's now got the road map back. So she gets an extra movement point. Right. After that, it's a little recuperation phase, I think, with a quick resupply. So is anybody going to get rid of any luck cards? I rather think they are. So, oh, poor old Slicer hasn't got a luck card with a heart on it, which is unfortunate. He's not going to use his Medi-Shot yet, I don't think. So, no, because he's going to try and get into Alice Offsprings. So he's fine. And Mama Manifold, is she going to use anything? Yeah, she's going to get rid of Deadly Quick, which is going to give her a health. So she'll go back up to 4 health. She's still got 1 radiation, but not too worried about that at the moment. And Triple Jinx, she's not going to use anything. She's fine. And Zooma. Zooma's going to get rid of Die already because he wants another health, which will take him up to 2 health. So that takes him up to 2 health. The start of the next turn, because he's in a city space, he should get an extra health, so that'll take him up to 3, which isn't too bad. Right, coolness. So in fact, if he's getting back up to 3 health, if he's getting up to 3 health, Slicer Takeda's going to use his Medi-Shot. Yeah, he's going to use it. It was in his pocket. He's going to discard it. So he's back to 4 health now. So thanks to Triple Jinx and his Medi-Shot, he's got back to 4 health. But it still wasn't a good turn for him. It was pretty grim. Okie dokie. Right, I think that is it for turn 4 of Waste Knights, Saviours of the Waste. How did it go? Pretty well, all things considered. Didn't go very well for the boys. It was a bit grim for them. Zooma, he took that car crash thing, car wreck on the chin, so he didn't get any explore phase, but he was just looking to get some health back, to be honest, and he'll manage to do that. He'll get back up to 3 health start of next turn, so that's good. Slicer Takeda did manage to do a common task, which reminds me, we've got to pick another common task. So let's do it. Could have had blue collar needs. No one can work 14 hours a day digging coal and breathing dust without some motivation, if you catch my drift. Unfortunately, our usual sugarmen have depleted their supplies. Drugs! This task will be accomplished by the first night to explore Waratah Industries 10. So that's hex 10 and discard any 2 drug cards there. Then place the pills marker active side up. Oh, so it's that big pills marker on the Waratah Industries 10 hex. So that's just north of gangrene on the centre of the board, and you will get 2 reputation for doing that. Has anybody got? We're a bit short on the old drugs. So Slice has just used 1, so he hasn't got any. Mama Manifold's got 1 drug card. Triple Jinx has got 1. She's got a medi shot. And of course Zooma hasn't got any. So we don't even have 2 drug cards. So this might be a bit difficult. So that is a definite possibility. And the other one is speed record. You claim to have the fastest ride this side of the Great Down Under. Bones of hundreds of similar daredevils dry in the desert. Show me you've got a pair or stop wasting my time. This task will be accomplished by the first night to spend at least 15 movement points during one move step while moving through at least 6 different hexes. And you get the muscle car gear card plus 2 reputation. You know what? We've got a lot of our waste nights. I've got the road map, which gives them an extra... That gives them an extra movement point anyway. And we're not doing bad for fuel. I mean, Zooma Jiemba's got 4. So he's got loads. He's got loads of fuel. So I think that is too easy. That isn't easy because we've got to get some more drug cards from somewhere. And if we're spending drug cards, we're not using them to heal. So blue collar needs is going to be the one that we are going to put as our new common task. So yeah, I think that's going to be a bit more difficult. Right, so we've done that. So we were talking about Slicer, so he did get a common task done. So we've done 2 tasks now, a common and a private, so that's good. We've done 6 tasks because we also got a private task done via the beautiful Triple Jinx, who's been a bit of a star, let's be honest. I'm surprised her reputation is only 5. Slicer Takeda is up at 7, but all he can do is like get knocked out by dogs. So there you go. But I'm sure she'll be catching up because she's amazing. Poor old Mama Manifold, she's like cracking on slowly and surely, but she's got no reputation at all. She's flying right under the radar. But she should get some if she manages to finish her private task next turn when she gets to the pumps. And I think she will manage that, so that's pretty cool. Right, so what we're going to do next turn? Well, I think we'll figure out some way, I think, for Triple Jinx and Zooma Jiemba to finish up on the same hex, hopefully, because I want to pass over that mini bomber to Zooma. Slicer Takeda, let's get him into Alice Offsprings, I think. Yeah, and do a bit of healing. And, well, not healing, he's fully healed. Oh, we might send him back to pharmaceuticals. That was a talk test, wasn't it? I believe. Yes, we'll send him back to Cerebro Pharmaceuticals, and hopefully he will be able to pick up some drugs and perhaps do that common task. But that'll still take an extra turn. I suppose. Oh, we could trade though, couldn't we? We can't trade in Alice Offsprings because they don't like drugs, I don't think. Let's just check. Yeah, you cannot trade for drugs there, so that's no good. But I think if you go to Cerebro Pharmaceuticals, can you pick some up? Yep. Take any drugs from the stalls, then refill the stalls. It doesn't say how many. You take as many as you want by the look of it. So let's get to Cerberus Pharmaceuticals, and he'll do that. And he can look to do another common task. Oh, we finalised a private task. So we've got a private task to put back as well. It was, which one was it? It was this one, the Sand Piercer one. So it's a green private task. So what options have we got? We've got treasure map. I could tell you a word or two about Cerberus security systems. I hacked them at least 100 times when I was your age, but my days on the road are over now. Explore Gangrene, Hex 1, a survival 9 to take this card. She's got good survival, and she's just got that prepper's kit. Explore, and then you explore Cerberus Tower to accomplish this task. You get the exoskeleton gear card, +2. That's good. That's perhaps a little too good. What's the other one? Reconnaissance. Old Cerberus constructs are patrolling the wasteland with alarming meticulousness. Something is guiding them. We must learn what and how to fight it. Explore Koskio's Redoubt, 13. Where the hell is that? Oh, just south. That's just south of Gangrene. And we've got to do a repair 9. What's it's good at repair? She gets a free repair, doesn't she? So perhaps this is one for her to do. She gets a free repair check. So she could do it on a freebie because of a special ability, Mama Manifold. Explore Cerberus Tower 11 to accomplish this task. Well, she's been there once before anyway, so let's do it. Then place the reboot marker active side up on Cerberus Tower 11 Hex. Oh, so that'll be another of these big markers, and we could get a red ray gear card and 2. Again, we've got a real... As the waster, we have got a horrendous... These are both good. These are both good for our heroes, and they're quite easy to do. I think the easiest to do, though, is Reconnaissance. Because of Mama Manifolds, I can do a repair check anytime I want. So the first part, which is normally the hardest, the actual picking it up, is a doddle for her. Absolute doddle. So we will get rid of that. At least with the treasure map. I mean, we can send triple Jinx after this, but and she will get 4 survival dice, but she's still got to roll a 9 in Gangrene, so that is not easy. So treasure map is the new green private task. Right. Well, I've whittled on enough. Probably another hour-long episode. I thought with my little cheat sheet and everything I'd crack on. I probably did at the start, and then of course you have a combat that adds loads to it, and I'm still whittering on now and adding time to the episode. So as I said about half an hour ago, this is the end of turn 4 and episode 5. So I do hope that you join me for episode 6. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for all the views, thanks for the subscriptions and all the comments and all the support. It's been fabulous. Thank you very much. All of you popped across to Board Game Links to upvote the site. Thank you as well as ever. Right, as I say, I hope you join me for episode 6 of Waste Nights, Saviours of the Waste, which will be turn 5, I believe, next time. But until then, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.
What a day! What a lovely day!